Guys, listen to me very carefully. If you find yourself begging for attention, that is absolutely not attraction. If you are forced to chase down every single signal, that is not a real connection. And if someone can experience your total absence and never once react, then your presence was never valued the way you hoped it was. But when the eye contact is genuine, when the energy is real, and when the interest is completely authentic, you won't need 100 conversations just to prove it. You will feel it right there in the silence. You will see it clearly in the pause. You will notice it in the way she looks at you for just a second too long, then glances away, and then looks right back again. And if you truly want to know whether you actually mattered, whether your presence carried real weight, and whether your energy reached deeper than mere words, then you need to stop forcing things. Stop performing. Stop hovering around. Just disappear and watch exactly what happens. Because eye contact is one of the very few things people genuinely struggle to fake for long. Words can easily lie. Smiles can simply be polite. Texts can be delayed, filtered, edited, and highly calculated. But the eyes always reveal true attention. The eyes expose curiosity. They reveal tension, comfort, attraction, hesitation, fear, longing, and genuine interest. When someone is truly drawn to you, their eyes don't just pass over you casually. They land on you. They search you. They constantly return to you. And far too many men completely miss this because they are totally obsessed with hearing what they want to hear, instead of observing what is right in front of their face. They hang their entire confidence on text replies, on relationship labels, on perfect timing, on social media reactions, and on mixed signals that honestly should have been crystal clear from the very start. But a man who truly understands human nature knows this simple fact. Attention is currency, and eye contact is one of its absolute purest forms. When someone is romantically interested in you, they don't just see you physically, they actually feel your presence before you even open your mouth to speak. Yet, let me share something with you that is even more powerful than eye contact. Absence. Anybody can enjoy your energy when you are always completely available. Anybody can respond to you when you are constantly showing up, constantly initiating, and constantly reminding them that you exist. But remove yourself from the equation. Pull your energy right back. Stop offering your presence as if it costs absolutely nothing. That is the exact moment the truth begins. That is when you finally find out whether they were actually interested in you or merely entertained by your constant effort. And I am definitely not talking about playing childish mind games here. I am not talking about manipulation. I am talking about pure dignity. I am talking about self-respect. I am talking about giving space to reality so that it can finally expose itself. Because when you disappear with peace, with discipline, and with absolute self-control, one of two things is going to happen. Either they will notice your absence, and their actions will begin to reveal what their words never could, or they won't notice at all. And if they don't, you are finally set free from the illusion. That right there is real power. Men, attraction is not always loud and obvious. Sometimes it is a very quiet shift in behavior. Sometimes it is just the way she straightens her posture the moment you walk into the room. Sometimes it is the way she holds eye contact with you just a little bit longer than necessary. Sometimes it is the way her facial expression softens the second she sees you. Sometimes it is the way she remembers the tiny details you assumed she completely overlooked. And sometimes when you take a step back, it is the way your silence suddenly becomes way louder than your conversation ever was. Do you realize just how incredibly valuable that is? When you are always present, people naturally get used to you. But when your presence actually has real substance, your absence creates immediate questions. Where did he go? Why is he so quiet? Why do I suddenly miss his energy? Why am I thinking about him right now? That isn't a trick. That is simply contrast. Human beings only truly understand value when something meaningful is no longer constantly sitting right in front of them. And if your absence changes absolutely nothing in her world, then stop wasting your heart trying to force meaning where there is none. Some of you are completely exhausted right now because you keep trying to convert total uncertainty into certainty. You keep trying to turn mixed signals and confusion into a real commitment. You keep trying to decode what should not even need decoding in the first place. And in that desperate process, you are completely losing your center. You are completely losing your standards. You are losing your peace of mind entirely. But the exact moment you stop hunting for validation and start observing actual reality, your entire life changes completely. Because now you are no longer desperately asking yourself, how do I make them like me? Instead, you are asking, what is their behavior actually revealing to me? Now, you are no longer desperate for signs. Now, you possess the actual discipline required to read them clearly. If the eye contact is warm, consistent, intentional, and fully charged with attention, make sure you notice it. If the energy completely shifts the moment you walk away, notice it. If your absence creates actual movement on her part, notice it. And if absolutely nothing happens, notice that too. That right there is true maturity. That is emotional intelligence. That is absolute masculine clarity. You do not need to collapse into pieces every single time someone chooses not to select you. You do not need to chase down every single person who happens to give you a tiny spark of attention. You do not need to turn every single connection into a massive life mission. Sometimes, the absolute greatest move you can make is complete stillness. Sometimes, the strongest statement you can possibly make is practicing restraint. Sometimes, the clearest answer comes the second you stop speaking and let your absence ask the question for you. And let me say this directly to every man who has been overextending himself just to receive tiny crumbs of attention. Your worth is never measured by how long you can pursue someone who remains completely undecided about you. Your worth is measured entirely by how calmly you can walk right away from whatever does not honor your personal energy. There is strength in putting in effort, yes, but there is even greater strength in practicing discernment, in knowing exactly when to lean in and knowing exactly when to let go. So the next time you feel completely confused, stop over-explaining yourself. Stop double texting your personal dignity away. Stop trying to make yourself more convenient, more impressive, more available, and more of everything for someone who hasn't shown any clear reciprocity. Stand tall. Observe the eyes. Observe the overall energy. Then take a step back. Just disappear. Not out of bitterness, not out of anger, and not to punish anyone, but strictly to protect your own peace of mind and reveal the raw truth. Because if the connection was actually real, your absence is going to echo loudly. If the interest was genuine, your silence will be deeply felt. If your presence actually meant something, they will actively show you. And if they do not, then simply thank life for giving you the answer and keep moving forward. Men, the lesson here is incredibly simple. Eye contact can spark the initial question, but absence is what often delivers the final answer. So stop begging life to explain what basic behavior has already made crystal clear. You are not here on this earth to convince anyone to see your true value. You are here to embody that value so fully that whatever is truly meant for you recognizes it completely without any pressure, without any fake performance, and without a desperate pursuit that drains your very soul. Look them directly in the eye, read the truth of the situation, then move forward with absolute self-respect. And if you really want to know exactly where you stand, if you really want to know whether the connection had any actual depth, and if you really want to know whether your presence possessed real power, then do the single hardest thing for weak men and the absolute strongest thing for powerful ones. Pull right back. Go completely silent. Just disappear. Then sit back and watch exactly what happens.